Will I make it? Will I manage to film this video or not? Who knows? Who freaking knows? It's quite freezing, but I've got woolly garments with me. Qui ci sta? Cioè, non so. We have dogs and cats around, so bear with me. So I want to share a little bit about what's been brewing for the past 10 years. Feels a bit scary to share this, to reach out to people, but I want to. Now it's probably going to kick the camera. Okay, so take 2. Mojo! So I want to share a little bit about what's been brewing in my cauldron for the past 10 years. So buckle up. If you're not interested about, what I've been doing and learning the past 10 years, you can check at the end of the video, I guess, where I'll tell a little bit about why I'm sharing all of this and what I want to do and all of that. Okay, so the past 10 years I have been collecting different ingredients and throwing them in my cauldron. I didn't know what this potion that I was making was all about. Finally, I have understood what this was all about. But to start with, I left my jobs and moved to a different country. I didn't speak the language of that country, which was Spain, and yes, Spanish is closer to Italian, but still I didn't know Spanish, and I knew very little English. And I moved to this intentional community and learned to navigate living together with all of these people while volunteering, working in a little office, and doing the community work. And there I learned so much. I met also my partner, Mike, and then we moved to Sweden, where I worked, and a year after working there I found my university program, which it was a program in fine arts, but it was a pioneering program called Design Plus Change. So design for sustainability, creating projects and systems that were aligned with the environment and the people and the economies they were placed in. And then at the same time I picked up this I feel like it's a never-ending journey of learning to work with wild plants for medicine and food. So I learned, I'm still learning to identify wild plants and working with them for food and medicine, so foraging and herbalism. And then I got very interested in creating my own clothes through knitting, this wonderful craft that transforms just a simple thread of fiber into garments that protect me and clothe me and also my loved ones. And then me and Mike, during all of these years, have been building together this dream of living off the land, growing our own food, and finding a place to live more connected with nature and live off-grid. And 3 years ago we found the place where we're living now, and it was a house without anything. It didn't have walls, it didn't have electricity or water, and the land was quite wild and taken over by wild and invasive species. And so when we moved here 2 years ago, it was really a very humbling experience, and it has been a very humbling experience to navigate our relationship during this project and to learn about growing our own food with regenerative agriculture techniques, and that's another whole humbling journey, because you can't control nature. You rather need to learn to live aligned with it, teaming with the different organisms and and following the cycles of the seasons. Okay, now we have a cat on that tree, I guess. And then a few years ago, I began exploring the more therapeutic side of building a relationship with nature and learning all the benefits of connecting with our bodies through the environment we're in. And I studied silvotherapy, which is a Japanese practice called Shirin-yoku, to connect with ourselves through the natural world. And then I started to study organic intelligence, got to know about this framework through an amazing woman and guide and facilitator called Elena Walsh. And I'm still studying organic intelligence, and it's an amazing therapeutic framework. Or all of these learning experiences and these ingredients that I've been brewing in my cauldron have all been about creating sovereignty in my life. And for me, I needed to go through all of this to find my sense of sovereignty, but I absolutely don't think it's necessary to learn all of these skills or go through all of these different experiences to create a sense of sovereignty. For me, sovereignty is about rooting in the knowing that we're co-creator of the tapestry that is our life. And sovereignty is not about isolation and hyper-independence. It's about this embodied sense of belonging. So I really want to support people in finding their own sense of sovereignty. And I believe that sovereignty only happens in relationship and community. And we need to find the tools for that. I think it's very necessary to create that sense of sovereignty in our life. Whether you're interested in any of the skills that I mentioned, like foraging, creative storytelling, ecosomatic practices, herbalism, regenerative agriculture, or you need some guidance to find your own sense of sovereignty, or better, you want to collaborate in creating a sense of sovereignty, in building community, please reach out to me. I don't yet have a business plan, a company, or a specific framework of work, but I want to get this work in motion. So please reach out to me. Mika is coding a website for me, and I'm adding all of the content, all of the offerings that I've been thinking about. So stay tuned for the website. All right, the video cut at some point. I guess what I was trying to say is that I have this desire to work with people, to create community, work with groups, work one-on-one, and use what I know and my, I guess, natural gifts. And bear with me, I'm not an expert in anything. Everything that I've learned it because I wanted it, because it gave me joy. But yeah, what I want now is to be able to be of service and use what I know to build more sovereignty, because I think that's needed in the world. We need to have this embodied sense of belonging, to have agency and power together. And I want to create those sort of communities, whether it's online or in person. I don't know. I want to find a formula, or many formulas, I guess. And I have some offering piling up. And I guess I need to root them down and find more clarity on how to present them and bring them out there. And it feels quite scary because I don't know who will be interested. I guess I just personally need that sense of community. The past years I've had quite some ego deaths. Had to let go of some identities and let go of some modalities of the ways I was, engaging with others and with myself, I guess. So I don't know. I guess this is kind of like a way to reach out and say if you have any idea or you want to collaborate. I think what I'm asking, if you've been watching this video and you're still here, what I would love is to have a feedback or just brainstorm together, because I've been collecting different ingredients and skills and opinions and feedbacks, and I want somehow to put them all in my cauldron and see what I have in front of me to be able to bring forth what feels good and what can be of help to others. But I think it's important to have a feedback from others too, not only an internal, because I have my internal compass and guidance, but I think it's important also to be reflected back, to be, to acknowledge the impact that we have on others. So the website is going to take a little bit to be built, and my offerings are going to be built and shared at some point. But I also wanted to gather, more information about what I can give and what people want from me. And then I can take an informed decision, because I have agency and I can see where, how to fit everything together, right? I think it's important nowadays, where there is so much hyper independence and we live isolated from others, even if we live close to other people physically. I think it's important to be reflected back and not to just take in any bullshit. Don't get me wrong, but James Hillman once said, to be is to be perceived. And I think it's quite true. We have an internal sense of self, and that's very important to learn to navigate our life through all the channels of our personal perception and experience. But I think it's also important to understand what the impact that we have on others, to see, the effects that we have on others. This was a really long and probably very abstract chat or monologue, I guess. But please let me know the impact that this conversation had on you. Having this conversation for me requires a certain level of vulnerability that I wasn't ready to have here, I guess. But it's important. And of course, you don't know me, but so far, if you've been following this conversation, you probably have a sense of something, right? And it's important. I want to gather information to be able to give something that is of value. And so thank you so much. And yes, I'll share more about my knits. I know some of you are here for my knits. I've been knitting still quite a lot, and I'll share about those in maybe the next video. So stay tuned for that. And I'll leave my email in the description box. I would love to hear, to have some feedback on all of this. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or rest of your week.